Hi everyone, my name is Annie Wills and I'm a student at Ohio State. I've become passionate about learning about the deaf community. I created this presentation to educate the hearing community about the deaf community and how social media has had an impact on it. Underneath each photo, I also provided descriptions for anyone who may need them. So to start out, I just have a few facts about social media. There are over 3 billion social media users and the number of users continues to grow every day. A majority of social media users are teenagers, and their generation is known as the generation of the digital age. According to the article How Social Media Became a Game Changer for the Deaf Community, written by Dan Gingis, social media has changed the way that people communicate, expanded the knowledge we have of people's lives, and developed our written and visual communication skills. According to the National Center for Health Statistics, there are approximately 1 million functionally deaf people living in the United States. More than half of the functionally deaf population is over the age of 65. In addition, millions more have experienced some level of hearing loss. As you can see, hearing loss is a very common experience shared by many people across the US. I want to share a little bit more about the deaf community and the culture that is associated with it. According to the National Deaf Center, the deaf community is a group of individuals that view themselves as a unique cultural and linguistic minority who use sign language as their primary language. The characteristics of deaf culture are formed out of many shared experiences. Deaf culture is expressed in many ways and through different values, behaviors, and traditions. For example, deaf culture is promoted through painting, drawing, film, folklore, literature, storytelling, and poetry. There are also specific communication norms and behaviors. Because people who are deaf have a degree of reliance on eyesight, many of these norms revolve around visual cues and strategies. There is also no universal sign language. In the United States, American Sign Language, or ASL, is used. However, much like verbal languages, there are many different sign languages. There is British Sign Language, French Sign Language, Japanese Sign Language, and so on. Another common misconception is that ASL is a direct translation from English. ASL is its own, complete, and grammatically complex language. These grammatical cues include hand shape, hand placement, hand movements, facial expressions, and body movements, and all play important parts in conveying information. It is also important to point out that not all individuals identify with deaf culture. Some individuals do not discover deaf culture until they are adolescents or young adults, or they may only identify marginally with the deaf community or not at all. Identity is a highly personal process that is always evolving. There tends to be a large separation between the deaf community and the hearing community. This can be explained by many reasons, however, the most obvious one is the communication barrier. There is a large communication barrier between the deaf and hearing community. Many people believe that the deaf community is able to easily understand spoken words through lip reading. However, many sources say that only around 30% of information that is spoken can be understood through lip reading. I was shocked to find that 72% of families do not sign with their deaf children, and 98% of people who are deaf do not receive education in sign language. This means that a majority of deaf children are not effectively communicating with their families or receiving complete educations. Members of the deaf community are often mistreated or misunderstood. Many feel that members of the hearing community do not see them as an equal. People who are deaf often experience condescending attitudes and are at the receiving ends of perplexing stares. Many people make fun of their sign language. This makes it difficult for members of the deaf community to feel confident in communicating with the hearing community. It is also important to acknowledge that our society is built for the hearing community. Deaf children often don't have opportunities in school or in their personal life to connect with other deaf children or adults who can share their experiences, help them develop a sense of identity, and give them the confidence to communicate with the hearing community. Prior to social media, people with hearing loss relied on other methods to communicate among themselves and with the hearing community. Before, people relied on letters or notes to communicate with people when sign language was not an option. As technology began to develop, minicoms and TTYs became popular. TTYs, or teletypewriters, which were also known as telecommunication devices for the deaf, were clunky machines that were similar to a typewriter. They had small screens that were connected to a telephone. They allowed people to send and receive messages. However, TTYs were heavy and also expensive, therefore, not many people could afford to have one, and they were also cumbersome to use and still cut off deaf users from the hearing world because it required the written word. It is important to note that English is often not the first language for many people who are deaf. Therefore, typing and reading in English could be a challenge. Technology took another big step with video phones. Video phones are similar to FaceTime or a Skype call, but can involve a third party who serves as an interpreter between those who sign and those who don't. They were made to be affordable and accessible and allows people who use ASL as their first language to communicate with other ASL users as well as communicate with deaf or hearing people who do not use ASL. The difficulty of communication between the hearing and deaf community, as well as the way society is structured, can be very isolating to members of the deaf community. Society often reduces deafness to a medical defect. The culture, close-knit community, three-dimensional language, and overall deaf human experience is often detached from the trait of deafness. Many members of the deaf community grow up never meeting another deaf or hard of hearing person and having only hearing friends. They often struggle with social events, especially when trying to understand what people say or situations where they have to take off their hearing aids, such as a pool party. Deaf students are often put into mainstream education. Most of the time, they have no deaf peers to share their experiences with or have anyone that uses their same language. Communication is often lacking and it can be incredibly isolating. Social media has made huge steps in connecting the deaf and hearing community. It has also changed some of the perceptions of the deaf community by spreading awareness. It has been a platform to encourage accessibility and other issues that people who are deaf often face. Social media allows for more articulate communication that can be shared with all different types of people. It has helped people who are deaf share and expand their businesses. Social media has given people who are deaf enhanced ability to integrate into the hearing world and share common things, including a language. Finally, social media allows people who are deaf to appear the same as anyone else who uses social media accounts. Social media has helped the deaf community communicate among itself. It has become a very important tool. It has given the deaf community another way to communicate that does not involve hearing. It allows the deaf community to share their life in a more natural way and to share their language. Social media allows the use of video instead of text and allows people who are deaf to use sign language to communicate. Social media also offers a place where members of the deaf community can express and share their frustrations about the barriers that the deaf community faces. All of these elements of social media help the people who are deaf communicate among themselves and share their stories. Social media can promote a huge sense of belonging for many members of the deaf community. Social media allows for the sharing of resources such as what to use for alarm clocks, the best ways to watch movies, available captioning services, sign language classes available in schools, and much more. It also allows for better communication and sharing of culture, which can help develop cultural identity and perceptions and understandings of those identities. For many members of the deaf community, social media was not around while they were growing up, but has become a lifeline for them as a way to make friends. Social media and the sharing of deaf culture has allowed the deaf community to express a sense of pride for being deaf and has provided a strong sense of community. Although social media offers many benefits to the deaf community, there are some drawbacks. Social media is not always reflective of authentic deaf experiences. Many hearing people use bits and pieces of deaf culture to create their own cultural narratives of deafness and disability. Sign language and people who are deaf on social media are often used as inspiration porn. Many of the popular videos circulating the internet are children with implants who are hearing their mom's voice for the first time, or clips of hearing people who are helping the deaf. These popular videos serve as a way for the hearing community to interact with the deaf community while still reinforcing that the hearing culture and community is the dominant one. Despite the often common language of English, there is still a language barrier that exists. Videos of people who use ASL that are posted online cannot be understood by those who are not fluent in ASL, and vice versa with posts written in English or videos that do not have captions. Social media often creates an online atmosphere where members of society talk about people with disabilities rather than talking with people with disabilities. Social media can also provide a space for cyber autism, which is a form of cyberbullying where the hearing community expresses the belief that hearing people are superior to those who are deaf or hard of hearing. Cultural appropriation of deaf culture is often common. Many hearing people attempt to use ASL, however, the majority of the hearing community cannot tell the difference between fluent ASL and poorly signed or nonsensical ASL. Authority in cyberspace is also expressed via writing skills. For many deaf individuals, English is not their first language, and typing or writing for communication may take away that authoritative opportunity for them. There is also a huge notion that the deaf community should embrace technology as a way to communicate. While social media has been extremely helpful in improving communication for the deaf community, this statement promotes the bias towards making communication effective and efficient for the deaf or hard of hearing individuals in a spoken environment. Social media also still isn't completely accessible to ASL users. Replies still have to be written in English. Users can't respond via video. Social media is also based on the availability of internet services and technology. Not all communities, especially rural ones, have good access to technology, Wi-Fi, and social media services. There are several social media movements that promote a sense of community, break down stigma, and spread awareness. Hashtags, Facebook pages, Instagram stories, tweets, and other forms of social media all help connect the deaf community through the form of inspiration and social media movements. One hashtag that is commonly used is hashtag deafiscool. Here are some examples of posts that have used hashtag deafiscool. On the left, we have a tweet from Deafy Blogger for World Hearing Day with a drawn image of herself, a blonde woman with a green turtleneck on. The next photo is a Facebook post that uses the hashtag deafiscool and is spreading awareness about a deafiscool space, a place where deaf people can have a party in a safe space that welcomes the culture and sign language. There are also examples of Instagram posts that use the hashtag deafiscool and range from people smiling, people signing, people with their hearing aids, and more. Another hashtag that is commonly used is hearinglosswontstopme. Pictured are some posts that are captioned with hashtag hearinglosswontstopme. They show images of the invisible burdens of hearing loss, pictures of people wearing their hearing aids forming a heart, people smiling in their clear masks, and more. Hashtag deaftalent is a hashtag used to spread deaf awareness and promote deaf talent in the entertainment industry. The posts above include a young woman with brown hair wearing a tan shirt that reads, "If it's not captioned, I'm not watching," a mom and daughter duo signing together, a young woman and man dancing, and a tweet that pushes for the normalizing of hashtag deaftalent. The hashtag coolhearingaids offers a space for people to embrace their hearing aids. One Facebook post shows a picture of a young girl who has decorated her hearing aids with clear rhinestones. The Instagram posts show decorated hearing aids held in the shape of a heart, and pictures of families smiling with some of their family members who have hearing aids. A tweet shows a young girl wearing a Superwoman costume and wearing red hearing aids that also compares her cool hearing aids to a photo of Elton John wearing gold-trimmed sunglasses. HearingLikeMe is an online community for people whose lives have been touched by hearing loss. It provides education, inspiration, and a place for people to connect. Posts include educational articles, videos, posts about the deaf community and deaf culture, inspiring stories such as the one pictured about Zoe Nutt, a musician with hearing loss, and ultimately creates a community. So here I've listed 7 inspiring social media accounts about deafness that I found through an article online. So the first person is Eloise Garland, who runs music workshops for people with hearing loss and coordinates music lessons for deaf children. Then we also have Miss Deaf Queen, who is a deaf comedian, filmmaker, and actress. Deaf Med is an account run by a deaf clinical medical assistant. It profiles deaf and hard of hearing people in the medical field. Jessica Kellgren-Fozard is a deaf YouTuber that creates content about her life. Why I Sign, run by Stacey Abrams, is a social media campaign to connect parents of deaf children and connect the deaf community. Jazzy is a YouTuber who is profoundly deaf and shares relatable content for her followers. And then finally we have Luke Christian, who runs Deaf Identity. He promotes the fashion brand Deaf Identity, which is designed to raise awareness of deafness. I wanted to take a few minutes to recognize someone who has become very popular on social media. If you are from Ohio and you keep up with Governor DeWine's COVID-19 press conferences, you may recognize Marla Berkowitz. Marla Berkowitz is the only freelance ASL certified deaf interpreter certified in the state of Ohio. She is also a professor at Ohio State. Over the past several months, Berkowitz has become an internet sensation. She even has her own Facebook fan pages. Berkowitz has played a huge role in providing first-hand information to the deaf community about health safety during the COVID-19 pandemic. She has stated in interviews that she feels an enormous sense of responsibility and honor and hopes that the attention she has gotten in light of her role helps people realize that deaf people are seeing their language in the spotlight in a way that is completely accessible to them and signed by a member of the deaf community, not a sign language user. Berkowitz also hopes that she has inspired people to learn more about the deaf community, promote awareness, and overall learn about the nature of sign language as a visually expressive form of communication. This slide shows a picture of the Marla Berkowitz fan page on Facebook. She is pictured beside 2 other ASL interpreters. I also have a photo that a fan shared of Marla on a shirt that reads "In This Together," showing Marla using the ASL sign for together, which is 2 fists with the palms facing towards each other. There's also a photo of a fan with her Marla Berkowitz bobblehead and a screenshot of Marla interpreting a song on the press conference. I wanted to share some quick and easy ways that you can make your social media accessible. The first tip is to write hashtags in camel case. So hashtag capital D, F, deaf is cool, with a capital I and a capital C separating the words instead of in all caps, hashtag deaf is cool, or all lowercase, deaf is cool. Including open or closed captioning for videos is a great option. Adding image descriptions and posting various types of content are all also ways that you can make your social media accessible. Here are my sources for this presentation. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I hope you were able to learn a little bit more about the deaf community, deaf culture, and social media, and I hope that you will take what you learned and perhaps apply it to your social media to make it a little more accessible to the deaf community. Thanks, everyone.